Sorry about that. Somehow we lost our connection. Not sure what was up with that. Yeah, it's a brand new view actually because the typhoon blew out all the storm, blew out all the trees, and now we have this neat new viewpoint. And we didn't have this before. I didn't bring east. Oh, it's okay. Hey, welcome to Hong Kong. You're going to get a typhoon this weekend, yeah? We've got a typhoon coming this weekend. But thanks for the offer, the east. You should come up here. It's a great view. And you won't get it this weekend because it'll be covered in clouds. If the computer models are... yeah, Houston had a big storm and a lot of rain, much worse than here. Yeah, we've had 3 in about 10 days. I am back. Silly systems mess today. We don't have a name. This typhoon has not even formed yet. We're looking at computer models which show us having a typhoon this weekend. Yeah, the Periscope loop of death. Not sure what that was. I couldn't even restart. It's really quite bizarre. Is that normal for this time of year? It's normal to get typhoons this time of year. It's not normal to get 3 in 10 days. Yeah, I'll be broadcasting. So Sunday morning, your Saturday night, my Sunday morning, you should be following me here or on YouTube. Is it okay to fly this evening with the Mavic? No, there's not that much wind. Technically, you're not supposed to fly at night, though, but you can fly at dusk. Beautiful view at dusk. When is it coming? If it comes on Sunday. There are 2 computer models, the European model and the American model. The American model shows light rain hitting about 100 miles to our east, and the European model shows a direct hit of a heavy storm. So we'll see what happens. There are quite a few Canadians, mostly more Americans than Canadians, actually quite a few French. It's complicated in the sense that many people have 2 passports, and many are Chinese Americans or Chinese Canadians, and as such they kind of blend into the crowd, you know what I mean? You don't really notice them as say, oh, that guy there is an American. You say, no, that guy there's a guy, you know? I use Windy, W-I-N-D-Y. Windy is an amazing app and an amazing visualization weather map. I strongly recommend the Windy app. Who's looking out from under the car? Everyone knows it's windy. It's not easy to get a Hong Kong passport unless you have Chinese blood or some other family connection. The app is called Windy, W-I-N-D-Y. Windy is a great app. The other app I strongly recommend is called Storm, especially if you live in the Midwest near lightning-prone areas. Storm is a very, very helpful app. My wife is down in central Hong Kong right now at her office. Hello. Our drone's maintenance-free, relatively maintenance-free. I think it's probably more maintenance-free than, say, your lawnmower. That's not to say you could have maintenance issues if you break it, but Windy, W-I-N-D-Y, W-I-N-D-Y. It's a weather app. It's a highly visual weather app showing forecasts and whatnot. Really good app. My wife is from China, but she's an American citizen. From mainland China, not from Hong Kong. So Hong Kong is somewhat foreign to her as well. The culture here is not quite the same as mainland China. Why is the app better? Because it lets you see days into the future based on the raw computer data rather than some weatherman's interpretation of the computer data. So you can see, just take a look at it. Go to windy.com on a computer and you can see how cool it is. I live with my wife and my kids here in Hong Kong. So she was next to me this morning when I woke up. And I actually left the house earlier this morning. Windy, W-I-N-D-Y, Windy. What the hell is that? Something flew into my lens. windy.com if you want to just do the web version. Hey, dog. Veteran Law School. Windy, W-I-N, like wind. W-I-N-D-Y. Yeah, grab the Windy app, and also grab the app called Storm, S-T-O-R-M, especially if you have notifications, because Storm will tell you if there's like a tornado coming in your backyard and stuff like that. It's a GPS. Storm is a GPS storm notification app. It's really good. Windy is a cool way to look at the entire world's weather patterns in one quick visualization. Go to windy.com and you can take a look at that. This is another viewing point that just opened up. So this viewpoint didn't exist prior to the storm. There's a really cool Japanese earthquake app called The Last 10 Seconds. And you can see YouTube videos of last 10, just Google last 10 seconds Japan earthquake. And you'll see these videos of the Japanese early earthquake warning system. I'm not really a storm chaser. I do like storms, but I'm not stupid. You'll notice when I go out and look at the storms, I generally do so from a very far distance. Though I did get in the water the other day, but that was just kind of funny. Hong Kong Fooey, Scatman Crothers. Yes, it grows back very, very quickly. In fact, some of our viewpoints have already been overgrown. Up ahead, for example. That's why the storm was nice. It actually cleared back some of the viewpoints we'd lost. Matthew in 2016, I remember that. Tree crashed in your bedroom. Oh, wow. Okay. Everyone knows it's windy. Put it up on YouTube. Monetize it. Get some money. So for those who are wondering, my monetized videos over the last week, which includes the typhoons that arrived here, I did live broadcast. I made about $100 US, $100 US for those live videos that I did from the storm. Hey, YouTube has got some really short stuff. So in 1 week, I made $100 just putting those videos up on YouTube. And that's it. Yeah, this is a pretty easy trail. Some days I vary. I go up what's called the treacherous trail, which is over in the back up to High West. But generally this is my pleasant morning walk before my day gets going. A little bit late today. What time is it today? It's 10:10. I'll be home by 11. And then take a shower and go out the door to my lunch, which will be at 12. Well, you know what's interesting is live. If you do a live YouTube, it's far more popular than the recorded ones, and you get a lot of publicity. So like my live stream had maybe 100 people watch over 16 minutes, but over the next 24 hours, 100,000 people watched. And that's where I made a lot of money. Morning, Sweden. Yeah, the scopes are fun. Welcome to Periscope, guys. Welcome to Hong Kong. We're at the Peak Tower right now, the observation tower for all the tourists. If you watched my scope yesterday, I flew over this with my drone. Just before my drone lost connectivity and had to do an emergency return to home. Return to home is the drone's onboard programming system that brings it back by GPS to its last known location of launch. That is the Peak Tower. It's an observation deck. That's a butterfly. It's a big-ass butterfly. I think he's a bit confused. So, the Peak Tower is where the tourists go to see life, the universe, and everything. The butterflies up here, I don't know what it is, but they're pretty used to human beings. I've actually been able to hold out my hand and have a butterfly land in my hand. They're almost like tamed. Not really sure why that is. I guess nobody eats butterflies. Yeah, actually we walked in once and there were like 12 butterflies. And so I told my kids, total silence and just freeze and hold out their hands. So we froze motionless. And after about 15 seconds, one of the butterflies landed on my fingers and one landed on my son's hand. It was pretty cool. I don't know, maybe it's like one of those Targaryen dragon kind of things. I just sense that I'm like a butterfly whisperer. Whew, let's get down this mountain. Boy, it is hot today. It is really hot. Ladybugs, not, you know, there are some, but not as common as you see in the U.S. What time is it there? It's 10:15 here in Hong Kong on a Wednesday morning, 10:15 a.m. So I'm on my way home to take a shower, change clothes, and then go to lunch. Just about the same time you guys go to dinner. How hot? It's about 30 Celsius right now. It's about 30 to 30. It's going to get up to like 35 today, which is about 95 Fahrenheit. And it's very, very humid. The helicopter's not, yeah, it's all the gimbal of the drone. It is pretty amazing, the technology they have there. 9:15 in Central, yeah. Aren't you on daylight time though? CDT, right? Or are you in Indiana, that weird part of the world that doesn't change daylight time? Very humid. Like, oh, actually it's not that. It's probably about 80% humidity right now. 75, 80% humidity, which is not the end of it. Yeah, but Mountain, aren't you on daylight too? So that'd be MDT. Oh, what's in there? So there are a lot of wild pigs up here. Always on the lookout for wild boar. Yeah, I'm not going to have breakfast today. Today I'm just going to have pan-fried sole with chips. That will be my lunch. To be honest, the last 3 or 4 days I ate a little bit too much. And I need to get back down again. I walk 10 miles a day. I live here in Hong Kong. I'm not going to catch a wild boar. I live in that building right there. We're walking down to that building now. This will take us about a half hour, 20 minutes to a half hour. Depends how much of a rush I'm in. Yeah, I drew one after San Francisco, if I remember. I don't know where the Jaeger base is. It's somewhere around here. I do some work, but I also walk and exercise. I do this morning walk every morning. So this is about 4 or 5 miles every morning. That takes about 90 minutes. And then as part of my day-to-day activities, I end up walking about another 4 miles. I walk about, say, if I do like almost nothing all day except just stay in the house and run errands to the grocery store across the street, I'll get like 2 miles or something like that. How's the view on the top of my building? The top of my building is a pretty good view. I live about the 20th some floor, so the view isn't as good. Actually, our building's only 38 floors. That white one there is nearly 70, and the one on the right is 50, so we're kind of actually a small building at 38 floors. I'm working on the tram tracks up there. Do periscopes up here. The view is better up here than it is from my building. So here's all the Pakistani construction workers. Since the Chinese don't want to do this sort of labor, they farm it out to Bangladeshis and Pakistanis. Kid you not. Almost all road crews are like this. Looks like a new gas pipe or something. Looks like they're going to go the whole length of this road. So they've got a sign control guy controlling traffic where maybe 1 car, 2 cars every 20 minutes comes. Hell, 1 car an hour. That's a cushy job. You can bet he's got a battery pack on his phone so he can be entertained. Labor Day. May Day is Labor Day, right? We don't have the same Labor Day here. I don't know what our holiday is. Chinese something day. Yeah. When college football season starts. It's almost September 1st, isn't it? Means I gotta pay a bunch of bills. Hello, Brazil. It is very sunny and very hazy today. There's a lot of pollution today. Hey, Rio. China has kind of a weird holiday system, all right? They have like weeks, like they have Golden Week and Chinese New Year. These are like the weeks everyone in China takes a vacation. All the factories shut down. Everybody hits the roads. Now, they're actually thinking of changing it so that people can take 2 weeks vacation whenever they want, rather than 2 weeks when everybody else is taking vacation and there's no room on the trains and stuff like that. Yeah, Dragon Boat. Those are like these little one-days. Those are in Hong Kong. I guess some of those go on in China. They get these little one-day vacation days. But honestly, most people work through those. Many factories are open for some of the minor holidays. They could stagger it. Forest fires are up. It's about 30 some Celsius. Iraq has weird holidays, yeah. It's a weird system. You know, you're going from a centralized planned economy to something more independent. But, you know, a lot of the people are complaining that, you know, well, when I want to buy a train ticket, when everybody else is buying a train ticket, it's much more expensive. You know, it'd be a lot better if I could just go any 2 days or any 2 weeks of the year. Yeah. Bamboo scaffolding. Want to climb up that? Plenty of guys do. The old bamboo, the old bamboo. There's a pretty sick scaffold. Yeah. The scaffolding doesn't really hold up the building. It's more just for the guys working on it. It's sort of a platform. You know, I can officially admit I'm now really hungry. Oh, damn. Video locked. It happens. In fact, around the corner up here, we're going to get a video drop. So I will keep broadcasting as we go through the dead zones. But hopefully it won't last too long. I'm going to get rid of this provider. Those are bamboo scaffolds. Yeah, they're basically like ladders. They're tied together with zip ties. Industrial grade zip ties, but zip ties nonetheless. And then they're connected to the building, sometimes with steel brackets, but sometimes not. They get blown off all the time in typhoons. We didn't have anyone die in Hong Kong in the typhoons, but Macau had about 10 people die. Macau's a mess. The newest allegation in Macau is that the Weather Bureau delayed issuing typhoon warnings so that the casinos wouldn't have to pay overtime to their employees. The result was that too many people were stuck at work and out on the streets getting to work when the typhoon actually hit. And that led to many of them seeking shelter in places where they ended up dying. Phone looks dark sometimes. It's sort of how it just has to adjust to the light up here. Part of the problem is light balance. How do I balance the sky with the dark forest next to me? Oh wow, a couple cars here today. This is the $193 million house. I seem to be working pretty hard on it today. Oh, let's go over the sidewalk. Definitely need some water. I should have brought some water. Tourists. The Mavic is about the same price as the USA. I think it's about $1,000 US. They're made in Shenzhen, which is just over the border. $15 dead already. Yeah, it's pretty much. I just saw a cop died actually in Houston too. It's one hell of a lot of rain. I guess there's some reports of looting now too. That's always sad. Today's lunch is going to be the British pub. It'll be pan-fried sole with chips. It's a light lunch. I might, if I'm still hungry, then we might have a noodle chaser. That would be sort of a late afternoon snack. Oh crap, I can't do that. I gotta go deal with my kids today. Today sucks. Okay, let's just leave it at that. Today kind of sucks. How big are the Hong Kong landfills? Not big enough. I don't really know. They're off in the distance. They're out of sight, out of mind. So they are building an incinerator soon. President Chatham. The problem with the second lunch today is that I've got to go down to the south side of Hong Kong Island this afternoon for my kids' soccer class. But maybe I could do a drone from Stanley. I haven't done a drone in Stanley, Hong Kong in a while. I know you guys like the drone videos, and Stanley's a pretty little village. Well, I've lived in Hong Kong 7 years. I'm from Washington, D.C., but I grew up in Illinois. So it's kind of a little bit... I've lived here 7 years, which makes me a permanent resident. Now, you bought your drone, Phantom 3. I bought the boys a bike. Yep, my son got a new mountain bike, which was a little bit too expensive, but he was really smitten. As soon as he stood on it, he was smitten, and it's hard to turn down a boy with that look in his face. Guys, the signal's going to get a little wonky. I'll keep broadcasting, but don't worry, I'm still here. So then I dug up an old photo of me when I was 8, getting my first bicycle. So, greetings. Welcome to Hong Kong. You're on Barker Road, B-A-R-K-E-R Road, here in the Peak District of Hong Kong. And we're going to walk down now to the mid-levels where I live. We don't have Walmarts, not a dumb question. We don't have big box stores. Land is simply too valuable for a Walmart. And Walmart makes money by having big trucks bring in, large quantities of goods that are sold to a population that pulls in from a surrounding area to that Walmart. Hong Kong is still the mom and pop kind of shops. There is a mom and pop store selling pretty much everything within, say, 2 blocks of every person in Hong Kong. I mean, it's an exaggeration, but it's basically the concept. People prefer buying locally, extremely locally, rather than traveling the distance needed to get to a big box store. And as such, the shopping patterns here don't really lend themselves to support a Walmart. The shopping patterns here... Oh, the chicken was good, yeah. Those chicken sticks, you guys love those. The shopping patterns here don't even support an Amazon because this is a culture of no return, no exchange. So people are very wary about buying something and not having the ability to return it. As such, if you buy anything, even like a clock radio, they insist that you plug it in at the store and validate that the clock radio is working. They don't want you to come back and say this radio didn't work. So the concept of that, Aldi doesn't exist here. Most of the supermarkets, in fact, the absolute largest supermarket in Hong Kong would technically be like a small supermarket in the United States by square footage. Most supermarkets here are very small, square foot wise. The supermarkets are controlled by 2 large corporate groups. So it was interesting, my wife actually remarked that the Asian grocery stores in the United States actually have a better selection of products than the monopolistic grocery stores that operate here in Hong Kong. She felt that you could just get more different types of things than you could here because there's a limited number of suppliers, distributors, and stores. So, kind of bizarre observation. No real superstores at all. We have IKEA, but even the IKEAs are pretty weird. They're mostly in shopping malls. Once you buy it, pretty much once you walk out of the store, it's yours. Yeah? As a result, people are very hesitant to buy online for fear of getting a fake or a defective product and not having the ability to return it. Amazon does not exist here, really. Gasoline is about $8 US a gallon, $8 US per gallon. Oh, technically they sell it by liter. That's okay because most people don't drive. There's only 500,000 private automobiles in Hong Kong, 550. and there's 7.3 million people. So there's only one car for every 12, 13, 14 people. Yeah? So for every 14 people, there's only one car. Compare that to the United States, and your city is probably almost one car to one person. I wonder what the ratios are in the U.S. I have to go Google that. As a result, we use public transit, which is considered one of the best public transit systems in the world. Hey, Boston. And we walk a lot. And as a result of walking a lot, the people in Hong Kong tend to be a little bit more fit than their mainland Chinese neighbors, who are more in car-dependent cities. So Hong Kongers tend to be a tad more thin. There are about 10,000 Teslas in Hong Kong. Hey, you watch my scopes all the time. Oh, I'm glad you're back. Oh, tree. About 10,000 Teslas out of 550. So that's about, what, 2%? 2% of the cars in Hong Kong are electric. Which is pretty good. I mean, compare that to the West. I doubt you have 2% electric cars even in Silicon Valley. Yeah, the U.S. has definitely played a little bit too loose with the refund policy. Guys, the signal's going to get wonky. I'm still going to broadcast, but if I disconnect, you'll just stay with me, because it'll come back in the next 15, 20 seconds. It always gets wonky at this turn. God, this has been wet for a couple days now. And this runoff has just flooded this sidewalk for a couple days. Yeah, the U.S. Return policy is a little bit too gracious. I think people have taken advantage of it a little much. I remember I went to buy some laser toner, and they gave me a box of laser toner. And then I opened it up and got home. I discovered that it was an empty canister that had been returned. I'm like, what a bunch of scumbags. I don't know how many have the bioweapon defense mode. Not really something we worry about. We're not really worried about people attacking Hong Kong, to be honest. We don't have a big terrorist threat against Hong Kong. We do have an anti-terror unit of the government. I think they prefer to go after the locals. I actually went back and I was like, I went back and I showed the manager, and he was like, what a scumbag. And he gave me a new one. And I actually always wondered about that. And I was like, you know, this is me, a slightly older fellow. I was rather well dressed, coming back to return something. I could have easily been the guy who put the empty one in there. But, you know, they just looked at me, you know, a dad looking kind of guy. And they sort of said, oh, you know, you look trustworthy. It must have been some other fellow. You know, you can eat for free if you have the right look in America sometimes. I give the example. One time, Raven is live. Oh, wow, we haven't seen Raven in a long time. Maybe I should end my scope so you guys can all go watch Raven. But I went in once to a grocery store, and the fruit man was there. And I was saying, you know, I'm tired of these red delicious apples, and I miss the taste of when I was a young kid, and the apples, you know, had the tang to them. He says, well, I want you to try the Honeycrisp. So he cut me a half of a Honeycrisp, and he gave me that. And I said, this is good. And he says, well, let's check this Brayburn. So he cut me another apple. We sat there for about 10 minutes, and he was cutting fruit and letting me eat all this fruit for free. It was just like, what a country. So Raven Tao is another scoper from Hong Kong. She's been absent for a couple weeks, though. Maybe I'll go over to her scope, say hi. But Jonathan, yeah, I've had some Jonathans. It's actually over here, it's hard. We get a lot of apples from Japan and Korea, so Fujis are kind of what we eat. I eat a lot of Fuji apples. I'll tell you what, we're going to leave you with this last scene. I'll be back on later today. Maybe we'll do a drone over Stanley, so if you're following me here. Also follow me on YouTube. We'll have the videos up on YouTube. Thanks for watching, guys.